Before we jump into today's episode, we have got some business to take care of. We've got to thank No Soap Patches for being a sponsor of the podcast for these last few months. They've just been so supportive of everything I'm doing here at Tearing It Up. I couldn't thank them enough. And I mean, it just goes hand in hand. Tearing it up, No Soap Patches, patch the world, flare up your gear, repair it. Remember, these patches are so fun. They're not just for repairing. Just add some flair, some personality, and your personality to whatever it is, a hat, backpack, a plain old black jacket. Go check them out, and you can save 15% when you use code flaring it up at nosopatches.com. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tearing It Up. I'm here in person with Charlotte Lilly of The Retreat Co. This is going to be a fun one because this is like a catch up, and there's been a lot going on since we've had Charlotte on the last time. And this is, besides being in person, extra special because it's snowing outside. We're so excited. We're at the new Evo Hotel in Tahoe City, the Sierra Surf Club. It's so amazing. You can see behind us, we're in this little listening room. It's more like a little alcove. So if you're not watching, I guess, we'll explain it. It's a little alcove in this like loungy lodge area of the hotel. There's records all around us. They have some headphones on the wall too, where you can actually, I guess, plug in and put any of these records in.
Like a record player, maybe?
Yeah. It's so cool. And I haven't been here yet. So this was a great excuse to get out and come check it out and see you in person.
Yeah.
And get another in-person podcast. And I love doing these. We've got these cute little cushions we're all in and comfy tea and coffee. But to give you all a little bit of a background, if you haven't listened to the episode that Charlotte was on first with the ski retreat or company, I'm going to let her kind of fill in what's been going on, and we'll dive into how the ski retreat became the Retreat Co. and her rebranding and all that. But I guess first tell people what the Retreat Co. is, and we'll get into the story behind it all after that.
The Retreat Company is an adventure company for women where we do fun adventures for women who can't sit still.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So also, I can't even remember again what exactly, obviously we talked about the ski retreat and all that the first time that, geez, was that like 2 years ago now?
It was it was like 4 or 5.
Gosh, that's wild. It was early on for sure in the podcast. And I mean, I met you doing one of the early ones in Tahoe through, I think Andrew's brother came and did was like the private chef. Yeah. And I was going to be out of town that weekend because I think we talked about me doing a yoga or fitness class or something. And yeah, it's so fun that we've been able to stay in touch this whole time and get to collaborate together in different ways. So
I agree. I didn't even live here then.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was, I think, in San Francisco during that time. And then the podcast recording was when I lived in Denver.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's been a journey.
Jeez. And now you're here full time in Tahoe City.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So the ski retreat, tell folks again who don't know how it started, like what it was about, just a quick little elevator kind of pitch about it, I guess.
Yeah. The ski retreat was a company that I started in 2018. And it was born from just planning a lot of ski trips. I was working in tech at the time, and on the side, I was planning a bunch of like girlfriend ski trips and ski trips for my work companies. And at the time too, I was like following a lot of female entrepreneur things like Create and Cultivate and like Boss Babes and a whole bunch of
Boss
stuff.
Babes.
Yeah, she's coming back.
Yeah.
But and I was like, I would love to be, my own business owner or a female founder, but didn't really have an idea. But it did kind of hit me where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already planning all these ski trips. Why don't I do that for women and for people I don't know? And so, yeah, I had my first one in 2018, and
Wild. 2018, that's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, this is our 7th season.
Jeez.
Which is cool. Like the 7-year itch, I made it.
Yes. Yeah.
Or after this season, we'll see, but it's only like getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
So that's good. But yeah, 7 years ago. And from there, I was doing, 1 or 2 a year because my jobs were pretty demanding at the time. But I really wanted to keep it going because I knew it was something that I loved, something that was special, something that women like always wanted more of.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's kind of how it all started in the beginning.
I love it, and I just still blowing my mind right now that that was 2018, and I'm like, yeah, that was my first, full or maybe second full winter back in Truckee, or not full winter because 'cause I'd been here winters. I always counted the winters, right? I came
Hmm.
in a winter and stayed for winters. I left a couple summers. So it was my first or second, like, full year. Because at the end of 2017 is when, um, Andrew and I were, like, from fishing, like, "Okay, like, what are we gonna do? Like, what's next? Am I going back to Tahoe after summer?" And
Yeah.
I was told him, I was like, "Well, I'll come back to Tahoe, but we're moving in with you. Like, I'm not finding a place. I'm not gonna like try and find a place where I can have a dog because, Tahoe is so dog friendly. And except it's also not when it comes to
That's because
finding
of
like,
housing.
yeah,
Yeah.
housing. So
I know.
I
It's
was like,
like, put your money where your mouth is. Do you love
yeah.
dogs or not?
It was hard to find a place with a dog. And so yeah, that was the thing. I was like, yeah, but this year, because I stayed with him the year before a lot in the winter.
Yeah.
I had a camper and I basically still just lived in his house and just parked my camper outside. But that was the thing. I'm like, yep, I'm coming back to Tahoe, but me and Socks are moving in with you.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that next year I think was the year that I talked to you about
Yeah.
the first ski retreat that I might be involved in. So God,
Yeah, that was early. That was like
yeah,
my first or second year.
yeah,
So
that's
see,
so
this is what I mean.
wild.
It was like that long ago. It wasn't
Yeah,
just like 3 or 4 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it just, I mean, it feels like the last 5 years has been a time vortex, right? That we lost 2 years at least of time because we've all felt kind of stuck. So I think that's where it's hard to really realize how much time sometimes like has passed, or that you've known people or put time into things. But
Plus, we're
yeah,
getting older, Taryn.
yeah, I know. Don't
I
remind me.
That's what people say when they get older. Oh my God, time goes by so fast.
And yeah, it's like faster and faster every year. And someone in I heard this recently that it was like because I can't even repeat it because now I don't even remember at all. So it doesn't matter. Time goes faster when you get older was the point.
Oh, yes, because the percentage of your
Yes,
life.
exactly.
Exactly. The percentage of your life is smaller as time goes on. So think if you're 2 years old, like a whole day is like a huge part of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what it was. Is
Yeah.
as you're older, like, yep, that. Oh, God.
Well, it's crazy you talk about the pandemic because we actually didn't have to skip a year, even though we're like an in-person experiential business, because our retreat that year was in January. So it
Oh.
was kind of awesome that, and I only had one a year at that time, so we didn't have to skip it. But since then, too, I mean, like the desire for connection and in person has only gotten stronger
Mm-hmm.
with, more things being digital and online, which is why it's so cool we're in person today.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, but that's like, I think, and also nature,
Mm-hmm.
people wanting to get more outside. We definitely experienced that, and the outdoor industry experienced that boom and now bust. But
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting to see how things will go on. But
Mm-hmm.
I think people will always want to connect in person.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the business is, foolproof from that perspective,
Yeah.
at least. Yeah. So anyway, just reflecting on the last like number of years, there's some of those themes.
So when, the first couple seasons of the ski retreat go, there was only a couple of retreats a year. When was the first year that you kind of made the jump into doing more? And like how many, I guess, before the rebrand were you doing a year?
So yeah, it was only one or two. And then the kicker was I left my corporate gig. So I decided to take the leap after like years of dreaming about it. And then like probably 2 years of seriously contemplating because I had momentum. People were always wanting more trips and stuff. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try it.
Mhm.
So I left my corporate job in September 2024. And so my first season on my own was last year. last season. And so that was the first time I did 5. I was just trying to test it out. It was like, can these sell out? Is there the interest that I think there is? And then I was able to, introduce new locations. So we did Sun Valley over the World Cup finals, which is super cool. And we did Breckenridge in Colorado.
Awesome.
And so that was the first time I was able to grow it from a number of retreats perspective, but then I also had time to focus on all the other elements of the business that you just don't, it was like, I'm going to throw up a retreat, try and sell it, and then move on was kind of how it was before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they're also very small, intimate retreats, right? What is the cap of people?
It's usually based off of how big the house is.
Okay.
But the average size is like 8 to 10.
Okay.
This year, we're trying a new model around staying in hotels.
Oh.
Yeah, but I still won't do more than 15 people per trip. Because for me, it's important that there's that connection piece. Like 90% of women who book these trips tell me, I don't have any other women to ski with.
Yep.
And 99% of them come alone. I've only had twice where people have come with friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Only twice.
Only twice.
Wow.
Which is so crazy to me because that just speaks volumes to people really needing and wanting that connection, but not having it within their, I guess, immediate community.
Yeah. And well, this is something I've thought about for years as well I have friends, obviously, who do the same things that I do, but trying to plan a trip with them, that's incredibly hard because, we're different places. Maybe they have kids or different jobs, right? That it's so hard to actually plan the trip with the people and the things that you do. But then also really my tighter knit circle, they actually don't do the things that I do. And I'm like, how did this work? How did this happen? Yeah. And it used to, I guess I'm my best friend and I, we snowboarded all the time together. But since 2020, when she went back to Washington and I stayed here in Tahoe, and then over the last few seasons, I've become more of a snowmobiler and I don't have I haven't had a resort pass, and so I'm not even snowboarding as much, and so not a lot of women
I was gonna say.
out there sledding, and a lot of women around here obviously mountain biking that I know, but again, you get at a certain age, I feel like we go through this kind of solo journey because you're like, all right, well, I'm going to do this by myself. And I have the friends I need, right? I don't really need to widen my circle or whatnot, but it's but why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And then especially when you realize well, I do, because I could call so-and-so over here to go mountain biking, but then I'm well, but I don't know. Do I want to do small talk, right?
I know,
because I don't really know the person that well, where she knows exactly I don't want to talk on the uphill. Let's rally on the downhill and let's have fun after. So it's just interesting phases I feel that we go through as women, or even just people, like I said, feeling you have your circle, you don't need to grow it, but then getting to this place where you're actually, I do want or need more friends, but how do I find them?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to the bars in my 20s and just getting drunk with somebody. I feel finding friends is similar to dating, which is, isn't that how Bumble, that app started? That it was supposed to be a friend one, and now I think it's full on Tinder type thing. But because there's a need for it. How do you meet friends?
Yeah. I think that's one reason why I designed our trips the way they're designed. They're a Thursday to Sunday. And skiing or snowboarding is the anchor, but we have a ton of activities that we do that help with the connection piece. And then the whole we're not just kind of sitting around. I mean, our slogan is can't sit still. So, I always say the trips are rejuvenating, not necessarily relaxing.
Yeah.
We do have downtime. We go in the hot tub, but it's we do yoga, we do an art class. I bring in female entrepreneurs to speak to the group. We do sometimes a sound bath. Sometimes we throw in a breakfast tailgate. We've got stuff going on. Oh, one of the highlights is a private chef dinner.
Yes.
That's really nice. I would say that's relaxing because you're just feed me in a beautiful environment, beautiful food.
Who does not want that?
Talk.
Yeah.
But I think that part's nice. And that's why people this year, 50% of the people who've already booked are repeat customers.
Oh, I love that. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Because that was definitely one of my questions, with things like this is are you retargeting, or is it the
Mhm.
same people? Is it new people all the time? If you've done it once, are you
Yeah.
going to do it again? And I mean, I think for retreats, that makes sense, right? It's not like it's a yoga teacher training where you're like, okay,
You're
I
like, "I've
went,
done this. I've
yeah,
learned
yeah,
what I
I
need to
learned
learn."
it all and whatnot. It's a retreat. It's for fun and meeting new people. And so you're not doing the same things. The experience is never the same. It's not just like a set itinerary of like, we're going to this place at this time, where
Yeah.
if the people came back and did it, they're like, well, we did this last year.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's good because it keeps me on my toes to make
yeah.
sure that I do create a better and better
Mhm.
experience, and then also keep them a little different because we do have a model
Yeah, yeah.
that we follow, but yeah, the experiences are different enough, like, and they're also based on where we are. So,
Yeah.
like, we're going to Jackson Hole this year.
Oh my God.
Whoop whoop.
I wanna go to Jackson
And
so bad.
we did a fun event there in fall and at this cute shop called Midnight Lunch, and it's like a little boutique, and they do like custom hat make. So I'm going to incorporate that into the retreat, and that's going to be our art piece. So, like art means like just being creative because
Mhm.
I believe women are super dynamic. We have a lot of interests. And so I kind of like squeeze in all those interests in like one weekend
Yeah.
where it's like the business or the creative or your passion side with the founder, like the yoga and mindfulness, the creativity element. And yeah, we have some women who are like, oh my God, I have no creative bones in my body.
Yeah.
Like what, but they like do it and they enjoy it because
Yeah.
they never do it. So yeah, I like that it's like dynamic, just like the women that come on the trip.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say too. It's like even if the experiences were, similar, like, in Tahoe, you're like, yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go to this like restaurant or bar or whatever, go do this activity over here, and maybe something similar to what it was the year before, but the group of people is going to be different, so that will change the whole dynamic and energy and experience of it too. So
Yeah.
even if you're doing the same things, it's like, how, okay, I ride the same trail all the time, right? But
Right.
like every time it's going to be different, or if I'm with different people, it could be just 100 times different. So it doesn't really matter, even if the things are the same or similar, like the experience is going to be different every time.
True.
um
Very true.
so last year was your first full-time season, and I know the rebrand from the ski retreat to the retreat co happened over summer. So tell us what led to that, and now what that all encompasses.
Yeah. Yeah. It came from being like, okay, well, now that this is my full-time job, I need more business.
Yeah. I need to do it more than
I
just
need to
like
do
the
some
3
more.
months or whatever out of the
Yeah,
year.
exactly. So I knew I wanted to do summer experiences. And then I also have this like need or desire to do something for the women or the woman that I used to be. So, the corporate woman, there's a reason why I left, and not to say, I mean, the experience was amazing. I learned so much, which is why I could start a business, and like all the amazing humans I worked with. And I wouldn't say that I wouldn't go back to tech, but um, at that time, I was like really burnt out and over a lot of the elements of that world. So I wanted to also incorporate, building something for the women of the corporate world. And so, yeah, I was like, well, I can't call it the ski retreat anymore.
Yeah.
Which has a particular ring to it, I feel.
Yeah.
And also I was very attached to it because I'd had it for, 7 years. But I was like, growth is hard and we're going to do it. And so, yeah, one was like changing the name. So I was like, all right, I'm going to call it the Retreat Company, because then that just opens up all the possibilities of what types of retreats. I was like, we could do camp, we could do sleep, we could do bike, we could do, all of the different types of like activities that align with what we're trying to do in terms of bringing people together. And so I was like, all right, so the name was like the big thing. It's really hard to choose a name.
Yes, it is so hard.
Yeah, I wasn't going to call it, the Charlotte Lily Company.
Yeah,
like you get to call yours.
But there is definitely thoughts on like naming a company like your name, and at a certain point that people are like, I never should have. Why'd I name it after me? And I have those moments sometimes, mostly when it comes to like searchability or having some kind of like people being able to see it and have any kind of like idea what it might be, you know, super ambiguous. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Until they know my name and they're like, oh my God, I love it.
Right.
But, like,
Yeah.
so I think, you know,
The
you
Terran
did
out there is
great.
such a good play on
I
words that
know
it's
it
like
is.
just genius. And then every other Terran out there is like, damn, I
I
wish I
know.
had that.
I like have to go like, what do you trademark
Yes.
everything?
Like trademarking your name.
Yeah.
I mean, true. But yeah, so I kind of went with like a broad, almost generic name on purpose because the camp retreat, the ski retreat, the work retreat, those kind of shine on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And the it's like the umbrella company, which is the retreat company.
Yes.
So I thought a lot about it. I asked some business coaches about it. I really was not sure, but I'm happy with it right now and I'm gonna roll with it. And
Yeah.
that's, how it goes, right? You just kind of
Mhm.
take the leap and you can always change later.
Yes.
It's really not that big of a deal. And really you only care the most. Like other people are like, cool, whatever it's named is named. Like
Yeah. Yes.
so it's more the experiences and stuff that bring it together. So yeah, I started working on that. It was actually a pretty quick turnaround. Like I started working on it at the end of the last ski season.
Okay.
And then I had this goal to launch it on my 40th birthday, which I did.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember seeing the posts on social media and whatnot, but I didn't recall that part of it. I love that. I
Yeah,
love
it
that.
just felt really aligned. And luckily the designer I was working with was just badass. And we just had a great back and forth and we knocked it out.
Mm.
And so it was really fun and exciting to launch that. But yeah, so the camp retreat is the other summer alter ego, I call it.
I like it.
And we did one last year as a trial and it was awesome. Truly awesome. We had a chef with us the whole time. We did an outdoor cooking class. We had a woman come and teach us about the local foliage and did a tincture class.
Oh, fun.
We did stand-up paddling and then we watercolored with lake water. We had a
Oh my
pop-up surprise
God.
brunch after our stand-up paddle from our chef. And so picnic. It was amazing. It was truly magical. And I love camping trips just in the same way that I love ski trips where you're just hanging out with people, you're having fun, you're chatting around the fire, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that here in Tahoe?
It was, in Tahoe at Frenchman Lake.
And did you guys camp or okay. It wasn't like a lakefront, or close house and then you went to all those activities. You were actually camping.
Literally camping.
Love
And
it.
just with the ski retreat, a big part of it for me is introducing women to the sport and the outdoors.
Mhm.
Some women had never camped before.
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
Yeah. And so we always say we provide a compassionate environment for people to enter these things.
Mhm.
And I think we always accomplish that. And so, it's when you're teaching a kid how to ski, it's just let them have fun. 'Cause
Yeah.
if they don't have fun, they're not going to keep doing it. But if
Mhm.
you're you need to do this and that, they're going to be like, this sucks and never want to do it again. So, but it's kind of a balance between the people who are new to it versus the ones who've been doing it a long time. But I think we strike the balance for both sides of it really well.
Well, I think with how you have it set up, again, being a retreat and experience thing instead of a lessons or skills clinic, oriented thing, then it's easier to bring that balance because you have multiple people who might be beginner or advanced or intermediate, right? Where they can they have the opportunity to group off, and especially with the skiing at the resorts, right? That you find your buddies who you can go and do the similar type of skiing that you want to. And then with camping, it's okay, so you know how to set your tent up. Great, set it up. And then that person's either going to help the person who doesn't. But it feels like the way you have it set up is where no one would be left behind or well, I'm not I don't need this, because again, it's not a lessons, a whole clinic weekend where you're cool, I thought I was going to learn all this stuff, but turns out I didn't because I already knew all of that stuff. It is just about the connection and having a good time. And I think that for any of us, I mean, I have to remind myself going on just group rides, right? That we're all here just to have a good time. So no one's gonna shame me for being slower or something, right? Because it's all just to get out together. It's the same way I think about it when people, whatever sport it is that they were newer at and I was experienced, and I'm no, I'll take you out. Let's go. I just want to go out and have fun. I don't care how fast it gets done or if we're doing this gnarly thing. I just need someone to go out with. It's
I think
that's what people are signing up for the retreats or just to meet people and have fun with and not to do anything at a certain level.
1,000%. And I think that's one big difference between honestly like a women's trip and a co-ed trip is like that type of pressure. I hear that a lot from our attendees where they're like, yeah, like we skied all day and we skied with like people who are really excited about it, but nobody was like pressuring me to do stuff I didn't want to do. And yeah, you can break up into groups that are at the same ability level and stuff like that. And we do have like one thing I did want to do on the camp retreat was have a survival course.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, but with permits and stuff, I was on it too late. So this upcoming season will definitely have elements of like outdoor survival. Having somebody come speak to the group, and because I think I do want the learning side of things to be there.
Yeah.
But it's not like a clinic or like whatever. It's definitely enjoyable. Like the
And
camping retreat was like, oh, okay, we have gourmet food.
yeah,
Camping, that never happens.
glamping. It's like, sure, you're camping in your tents, but then all these other elements too, where you're like, but I don't have to worry about the cooking and the little stoves and the cleanup and all that, which
Yeah.
I think that all of us, it's like, who doesn't want that? You can be a hardcore camper and backpacker, right? But sometimes it's nice to go stay at a hotel or do this retreat where things are just like more prepared for you.
Just taking
You
care of
don't
you.
have to be this like extreme level all the time. And I think that our age and most of the women listening are far beyond that point of like, yeah, I'm this like hardcore like person who has to only do things this way. Like I'm only going to be on this run at the resort. You will never catch me over here. Like,
Right.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some out there and that's awesome too. But I think for me, people ask like, are you going to do backcountry and backpacking? And I like to be kind of the company for like your average lady.
Yeah.
Because I still believe there's a lot of women who need to still come and experience it and try it for the first time. And it's unreachable, I would say, for like if you're starting with backcountry. I mean, never say never. I'm definitely still interested in that. But I think for now, it's like staying relevant for, just kind of like your average woman who's busy, has a life, but like wants to have fun still.
And I mean, there's a lot of other places that people can go for those things, right? So it's like if you are kind of that intro to someone even just getting into skiing and they get so into it, they want to go on these like backcountry trips specifically or whatnot. There's a lot of other people out there doing those types of things, but you are that stepping stone to that. And like you said, never say never anyways. It could be an offshoot where you set something up like that. But
yeah, because a lot of our attendees are hardcore.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm like, okay, yeah, there's probably like a market in our, audience that would want to do that. So,
but I think that speaks to the like kind of point of not being everything for everyone, right? You have found like this niche to be accessible for a wide variety of people because even those hardcore women can still come to the retreats that you put on and have a great time and experience. And if they want to go do that like leveled up like thing that's specific to one activity, there's places for them to go. And same with the women who maybe aren't experienced. They need more like actual learning. Like they can go get that somewhere else. But it's like you cast a wide net still for people, but you're like I said, not trying to be everything for everyone.
No.
But I feel like that can be hard when you do have those interests yourself, right? So do you find that hard trying to kind of stay where you're at and build from here instead of like wanting to reach for all those things right away?
I mean, just by the fact that it's just me working on it, there's like a forcing function that I can only focus on what's like the most like right in front of me right now.
Yeah.
So I do have all these other interests and I definitely am going to expand. And it's sort of just trying to, I think it was a big year. I launched a new brand. I launched 2 new pillars of the business. I need to make sure that those are solid and can grow. And then maybe I'll be tapped, maybe I'll be happy with that. Because the work side of things is just rolling. Like I've barely marketed it at this point, but like what's been interesting is companies reach out about virtual retreats. So they want to do like a 1 or 2 hour retreat for their like a women's group at their company or something like that. So one of the ones we're doing is like a for fun one. We have like these, like how to learn more about AI or how to improve your LinkedIn identity, but this one's going to be a holiday charcuterie board making class.
Oh my God, so
Just like for
fun.
fun to create that bonding experience, and it's virtual and we have a chef, leading it. And so that sort of stuff. And so
Yeah.
looking forward, we will be doing more virtual retreats like that, because while we were saying yes, in person is important, I think any sort of connection is great. And I'd love to bring on, we have awesome partners. Like one of our partners for this year is Wild Rye, who I'm sure a lot of your audience members know about.
Definitely.
So excited. And so like I'd love to have Cassie, there where people can sign up and we have like a virtual roundtable with her.
Yeah.
So like with brand partners and then fun just experiences and then the real learning ones too. Like maybe it's around AI or LinkedIn or something like that. So just thinking more about, how I can diversify and add new ways, basically new ways to make money. If I'm being really honest, but also new ways for people to connect. Like there's all this white space between an in-person ski trip. There's so much more for ways of women to connect. And you will be the first person too to hear about the newest thing.
Oh my God, can't wait.
Yeah, which is,
God.
maybe if we talk about the future at the end or something.
Yeah.
But there's one big thing that's very new that I'll share.
Excited. Yes. Okay, so first of all, I think I need to work a little bit more on what you're doing. It's really hard for me to not dive straight into any idea that pops in my mind instead of let's keep focusing on this, right? So you do a very good job of I got these 2 pillars that are new that I'm working on, and we'll see. Maybe I'll hit my cap and I'll be perfectly happy with those. So pumping the brakes on some ideas, but while also going all in on what you've got. I don't know. I feel like you have a really good balance that I strive to to get to for sure when it comes to those types of things.
Well, I'm not trying to make it sound like I have all my shit together.
Yeah, no.
Because I'm also looking into VAs, virtual assistants.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking into doing that as a job. So
cool. Oh, hey. Let's collaborate.
I need some trying to find some other remote opportunities that don't steer me too far from what I'm doing, but things that I'm good at. But yeah.
I mean, anything that because I'm okay, if I take your standard business. My husband's a veterinarian. And if he was having to answer the calls, do all the emails, do all the technology side of things like IT, do all the website things, answer reviews, when is he having time to actually do his job that he's getting paid for? So I'm trying to think of it like that, where I'm okay, how can I scale, on the things that I spend a lot of time doing, but aren't moving the needle as much. And so that's, I think, where the VA world comes in. I do have a social media intern right now who's awesome, but her time's ending. So, it's this constant struggle for finding help that doesn't take just more time out of your schedule.
And that is just such a struggle with a solopreneur, entrepreneur, right? Is when you're at that point of growing, but like you just said, how do I focus on the things that I'm good at and care about and have to do all these other things? And that's where I find myself a lot too. I'm good at this part, right?
I know.
I don't have time to do all the other things sometimes. And so finding that, again, balance point to make it work and to take those next steps. So when you mentioned with the whole retreat co and part of it being a kind of ode to who you were, I loved that. And I'm assuming that is what the 2 pillars that you're working on now, aside from the ski retreats, are the camp retreat and the work retreat.
Yeah.
So the work retreat, tell us exactly what the goal behind that is, connection for the people working in corporate.
Basically it's okay, so I'm a woman in corporate. I'm not getting the perks that I need. I'm not getting the recognition usually. I have very few other women I'm working with. And so just providing spaces for women to come together and work on their leadership skills, work on their communication. Literally, it's kind of for those ones, I sort of work with the goals of the organization. and work backwards from that. So we could bring in, speakers on different topics. But then there's always got to be that element of like team building or coming together,
Yeah.
So like if we had a corporate retreat here in Tahoe, it'd be like, okay, if it was in winter, we'd be like, maybe we go snowshoeing in the morning and then we come back and we do like a keynote and then we have like a workshop that afternoon. And then we go to a hot tub, and then we have like nourishing food. So like, again, to that part that women are dynamic, like we need like these different elements. We need to
Mhm.
be stimulated. We need to be relaxed. We need all the stuff.
And the connection. You need to feel connected to
Yeah.
be able to, I think for me personally, like absorb things.
Mhm.
Just sitting at a keynote, I'm like, it is so hard most times for me to really pay attention, obviously, depending on how engaging the speaker and the presentation and all that is.
Yeah.
But when you have all these other elements, like especially first, right? Let's go
Mhm.
out, do an activity and come. Like, I just feel like all of that is, yeah, exactly how I learn and absorb
Yeah.
things. So,
Yeah, and so my first idea was like doing the in-person ones, but actually with this virtual side coming forward, I'm like, I want to run with that too. So definitely offering both, like the in-person if there's like a whole team or individuals from a company, or I'm even thinking about like just putting on like a work summit and then people find it and then they have their company pay for them to come.
yeah, like
So
the individuals within the company who want to
yeah.
attend
So
thing.
it's not like the company's like sending a group of 10. It's
Right.
like, yeah, just 10 women from 10 different companies that never knew each other.
Yeah.
So those are some things I'm thinking about with the work retreat side, but I think it's exciting and fun. And I am in that world, like most of my friends are still in that world. It's a huge part of me. And so it comes naturally and I would know how to put something
Mhm.
on that like is valuable for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, just gotta find the time to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I love that. I also love that you are bringing some virtual stuff into it because, yes, we've said in person, like it was missing for, which is, again, only a couple years really that it seemed, but we realized how e I think the fact was that things were trending maybe down in those in-person connections, and then when we really couldn't have them, we realized how important they were. So even
Yeah.
though we look at it, it's like, it was only 2 years that, like, all these in-person things were canceled, like, why did it feel like so much longer? I think it's because
Yeah.
that disconnect started so much longer before we actually couldn't, and now, obviously, in the years coming out, we have seen how important it is and needed, and people still want and need it because overall, there's still that disconnect because we are connected virtually through social media, or like we said, you have friends who do these activities, but it is so hard to actually meet up and do them, let alone like plan a trip. So like it is, these opportunities may be there, but how often you can get to them like with depends on your lifestyle, right? And what's happening.
Mhm.
So
And there's phases of life too, right?
yeah,
Like it might be like, okay, virtual is better for some people
yes.
right now, and those people join now and then in person later or something.
And so there are times that I'm like, I really kind of do miss all the virtual
Mhm.
options
Yeah.
because like a lot of the things that happen in person, like, oh, I can't make it. Like that
Yeah.
sucks. I have to freaking work tonight. And, where I could have like caught this recording or something
Mhm.
virtually or could work it around my schedule differently
All of it.
virtually that I'm like, oh man, what happened to all the virtual aspects or even with personal training and stuff for me, it's like in person is obviously way better, such a different like environment and energy. But I absolutely do miss the demand of the virtual
Yeah.
because, like, it gave me something too, and now I'm like, "No one wants to work out virtually anymore."
I
Like,
know, it's
that's hard, like,
crazy.
what
I still
happened to
do it,
that
but
whole side of the yeah, it's like but it's just so different than it was for a time period, and, like, yeah, how do we find this blend, right, of the
yeah.
virtual experiences that
Yeah.
give you, just so much out of them and in person, so it's really cool that you are finding a way to mix that in
Yeah.
with these.
I think too, from like a business perspective, it's trying to fill that white space. So it's like, what can I provide for people? Like maybe right now, yeah, some people's life phases don't allow them to go on a weekend long trip.
Mhm.
So what can I provide for them now that's like still the connection, still the learning, still the confidence, still the fun? And then also, even for those who've been on the trips, like they, like if they only are skiers, then it's like almost, 8 months before they get to
Yeah.
see these people again. So it's also doing the in between, like, hey, we're a community, like let's get together and do these fun things. Yeah, so there's other stuff I'm thinking about with filling those gaps for people, like from a business perspective. Really, like you caught me in a time where I'm like really pondering a lot and
Yeah.
strategizing and thinking about, okay, what's the next level?
Mhm.
So the first phase was like, okay, let's get the rebrand, let's launch those different like pillars. Now it's like, and seeing if there was even demand and stuff for it. It's like, okay, now that I know that there is, like, what's the next level
Yeah.
and what are the next offerings? Not to chase the shiny object like we were saying, but
Yeah.
really like things that really make sense and that like go well together with what I already am doing.
Well, it's like you're slowly filling those gaps, right? You went from one season to now you have the summer season plus the work retreat. I mean, that really can be in any season, but then there's still going to be that white space and those gaps in the between.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, if you're the person who is only interested in the ski retreat, how do I keep you connected through all those other times in the year? And that reminds me, I mean, of what you just did this winter with the series of the winter snowdown.
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me, like that was so cool traveling around and doing these like pre-winter parties.
Yeah.
So first, tell us a little bit about what the snowdown was and how you are like kind of what gap you felt like you were filling or what the purpose of it was for the connection and community.
Yeah. I, for some reason, got a wild hair up my ass this summer and was like, I want to throw ski season kickoff parties. And I had no idea what it was going to look like, but I knew I wanted them like in different cities. So I put it up on my website and social, like, if anyone wants to host a party, let me know. And I got some people who are interested, like, especially previous attendees, which is cool. And so, yeah, we ended up throwing 5 different ski season kickoff parties in different mountain towns. So we went to Boise, Beaver Creek, Burlington, Jackson Hole, and we hosted here, actually,
Right, in the Sierra Surf
in the
Club.
Sierra Surf Club as the finale. And it was so fun. I think, from like, I really genuinely was like, I just want to do this. But like from a business perspective, it helped. Basically, my catch was to enter the banger raffles that we had. You had to sign up for my newsletter. And so at least it was a way, because, it was free events. And so
Mhm.
like registration was low, even though I knew a lot of people would show up. So I
Yeah.
wasn't really capturing who the people were. But so that was a nice way to just capture that and then have a little one-on-one interaction with people. But also the other element was we partnered with a lot of local and bigger brands who kind of sponsored this. And sponsor meaning like donating to the raffle.
Mhm.
So we have Yard Sale, Wild Ride joined and did their friendship bracelet making stations, which is great. Carrie Traw gave us donations for each one. And then we had the local businesses either there or donating to the raffle. So it was like definitely a community move. Like the point was, let's have a party. Women can come and meet other women who are in their area, and then
Mhm.
they can like hopefully like ski with them
Yeah.
or ride with them, whatever, or just hike or be friends with, So they were really cool. And overall, I think like so successful for the first ones. I will definitely be doing it again next year.
Yes. That's awesome.
Just because it was so fun. I mean, yeah, we encourage people to dress up in retro ski gear. And we had a DJ for a lot of them. We had like either a photographer, photo booth, just like trying to make it fun and interactive and something that people will, remember and get them stoked for this season.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. And like you said, the retreats themselves bring people from far and wide, right? But how do you could connect the people that are there? And I mean, that's also the thing, like when you're doing them in these areas, do you have people who come to the retreats who are like live in that area, or do they mostly come from further away?
Mostly further away. People have asked if they can join if they're local, and we've had a couple locals like join on the Tahoe ones. I did launch a locals pass, which allowed people to ski with us and then pick a couple activities to do.
Cool.
It just hasn't really picked up that much. I
Yeah.
think the big draw is like, the big draw is like staying with everybody, that connection piece. And so I think that's really like the sweet spot.
Yeah, yeah. And then, I mean, people want to go somewhere they haven't been before and like
Yeah.
experience it with other people instead of like feel like they're traveling alone to this new place, don't know anyone to like go ski with or do anything with. They feel like they can actually comfortably navigate this area maybe that they've never been to or or are afraid to go to alone or something. And that's where I love the Snowdown series, where it's bringing what you're doing actually to the local communities and the people there, and not feeling like just retreats that like I wouldn't be a part of because like,
Right.
oh, I'm local, I don't need like a retreat. But like, it's not, it's just not your typical retreat. As how like I feel like I don't think of it that way. That like even being local, yeah, I want to spend a weekend doing all that fun stuff, because it's not that you're just like doing basic tours around the city, right? You know, where you're like,
Totally.
okay, I don't need to see this site or something. It's not
Yeah.
that at all. It's
Yeah.
doing fun things that I normally wouldn't be doing
Yeah,
where I live.
objectively, like
Yeah.
having a chef is like a fun
Yes.
thing, or doing like the activities
Really
is like
just
just a fun thing.
yeah,
So
just
yeah.
hanging out with the girls.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I
that's
know. Well, and that's
awesome.
why I also do like local events here too. So like I do like monthly, semi-monthly, whatever events locally here too, because I just feel like we need it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
really the only reason why. It's like totally volunteer. And I mean, inherently, like I get like joy out of it, and that's a driver for me. But like, yeah, so doing that here is something that's just like important to me that I enjoy doing.
Yes. Okay, well, tell us about the future. What is
Yeah.
going on? We have seen this ski retreat morph into the retreat co, the intro of camp retreats and work retreats. So we're catching all these ladies in these different elements. And what is happening next?
Thanks for asking. Well, yeah, you've seen like the morph, and we have a very strong through line of like bringing women together, whether it's for work purposes or outdoor purposes or whatever. And so we're actually in escrow on a piece of land.
Wow. Oh
Yeah,
my
which is
God.
here. It's like between Truckee and Grass Valley
Oh,
off Highway
okay.
20. Yeah. And so everything's checking out. I think we might close by like the day before Thanksgiving. And
That's
so
next week. I
that's
mean,
next
when you
week.
guys listen to this, it will have
Passed.
happened.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I
be
mean, yeah.
done.
Yeah. I'm like, all signs are pointing to yes. So that's why I
Yeah.
feel comfortable like mentioning it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm putting it out in the world, because it's definitely a daunting thing. But the idea is it will become this physical space where we can host retreats and host people coming together. Obviously, we'll see what it all turns out to be. But right now, we want to do camping, glamping. We want to do weddings. You know, I really want to do like long table dinners.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It has
Yes.
these really huge, like garden plots. And so I'd love for it to become like a flower, like flower farm. And then other women can rent it for retreats, for their retreats and stuff too. And we're not doing them. So it's kind of like the next evolution. It's been a plan for 4 years at least. And so obviously finding the right piece of land takes forever and blah, blah, blah.
All the things going into buying something that big, like a piece of property, house, anything, right, takes time. Like to find the thing that is going to work. And then when you find that piece, to like every other piece to fall into place.
Yeah, it actually requires a lot. Yeah, and it's like a leap of faith, and obviously like it's investment financially too, which is like really scary.
Yeah.
But I think, luckily my husband's on board too. He's like pumped. He's like, can't wait to see what you do with it. I'm like, oh, you're going to help, right?
Yeah. Like, what do you mean me, you, like who, we?
But mostly, yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
like, my vision with what I've been creating for 7+ years now. I mean, so yeah, that's the big news, is like there will be a physical space.
So cool.
I definitely want to host some camp retreats there. It's what's nice is you can like purpose build it. You know? So purpose built for what you want it to be. So yeah, that's what's going on.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Just a few things.
Yes, that's so cool. And I mean,
Thank you.
it makes such a huge difference, I think, in a lot of businesses to be able to have your own space.
It does.
And obviously you will continue on doing retreats around these other places where the setup you have of like renting for a weekend or something is a little bit easier than always trying to do the same thing in one spot.
Yeah.
But it just,
like
again, widens your net, where you can continue to have all these retreats at different places, but then you still have this one spot where people can come continuously. You can have like an annual event or renting out for other things and other people. What's it? Do you have a name for it yet? The retreat space?
I know I don't have a name for it. I don't think it'll be like retreat specific. It'll be more broad.
Yeah.
Definitely thinking of names still.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep an eye out for what we end up calling it.
That's so cool. So once it all finalizes, do you have any ideas yet for the first kind of kickoff? I mean, you don't have to share those or anything yet if you're not ready. Yeah.
Well, so there's this cool company that I have followed for years called Shelter Co.
Oh.
They basically they're full-blown events company at this point, but they have a whole inventory of like canvas tents that are like glamping all the way up to literally you can host like a 300-person wedding. And
wow.
So they are a really cool company, and I followed them for a long time, and they had a warehouse sale. So I went and bought myself a few canvas glamping tents.
Yes.
So to begin, we're going to set those up and invite people, for camping. And there's like some other tents we got. So it'll start sort of with that. We need to do more with the land and build up structures and stuff. But then we want to host like a big friends and family camping trip this summer there. Definitely going to be planting a lot of the garden and hopefully turning it into like that flower farm where people can come and buy flowers and just like look at them and take pictures with them. And, so that's where we're starting. But we need some infrastructure for some of the other stuff. But I mean, people can elope there easily. It's going to be beautiful. People can do camping weddings there, like on the get-go. We did a camping wedding. So like super fun. So that's this spring, we're going to start with that.
I love it.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it. I mean, everything you're talking about, I'm just envisioning all of it. I went to a big dinner, long table party in a garden. It was like a fruit vegetable garden. There's flowers, everything too, but it was in Bend, Oregon. It was for a work summit thing. So I don't remember the name of like the farm off the top of my head, but as you're talking about that, like that's what I'm envisioning. And it was just so amazing. Like it was of course you're taking pictures of everything, just like the cutest thing, like out there in the farm on this big table, the best food they're cooking right there on the farm. Such an amazing
Any
experience.
chefs out there, let's partner.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God, that's so exciting. Like I can't wait to see what all comes from this space and everything. Like I said, what you're building reaches so many different people. And I think that it, comes down to a similar mission I have of just that connecting people, right, in the community. And I think what a lot of us are out there for and want and need. So it's really cool to see.
Thank you.
Well, before we wrap this up, tell folks where to find you and then like the most like upcoming things they can jump on board with.
Yeah. The website is www.theretreat.company. Still getting used to it.
Yeah.
And the Instagram is _the-retreat company. There are a few others out there, so make sure you're seeing the right one. And really, it's the ski retreats. They're going to be so amazing. I'm working on them right now. I'm super excited for all of them. Obviously, there's a couple in Tahoe. There's Sun Valley and Jackson Hole. We're aiming for our first ever cross-country ski retreat.
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah. I just started last year and I was like, this is amazing.
I picked it up a couple years ago just from where we live now. Yeah. Grabbed some backcountry, cross-country skis so I could just go out the door. It's the funnest thing in the world.
It's so fun. You can bring your dogs. There's no gear. The parking doesn't suck. I was like, oh. And I feel like there's a lot of cross-country curious downhill people out there. So we're aiming for that in April. We'll see how it goes. But that's, something just fun that we were doing this year too.
Cool. I love it. Well, everybody out there, thank you so much for joining us, for catching up with Charlotte with us. Be sure to follow The Retreat Co. if you don't already, and check out what's coming up with the ski retreat and jump on some of those if you still can. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.